This podcast is brought to you by PwC.
Hello and welcome back to Data Ascent, a technology and data podcast brought to you by PwC Switzerland. I'm your host, Matthew Dunn. I'm excited here to welcome everyone to our episode on ESG, environmental social governance. A big buzzword we're hearing these days as companies try to navigate these complex reporting requirements and stay a bit ahead of the curve. To help us digest this a bit and break it down, we've brought in our resident expert when it comes to ESG, Rodolphe Duhasp. Rod, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Rod, before maybe we get into the ESG topics, maybe a quick intro from your side to help the people understand, what your background is.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I have to say thanks for the flattering description of being an expert. As I hope this conversation will highlight, there's plenty of aspects of these buzzwords that you've referred to. But I'm a manager here at PwC. I've been working on very large transformation programs, and I think this sustainability topic is here to stay, and we'll as we'll dig into it is very interesting. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. So to set the stage a bit, how have you seen companies traditionally try to approach compliance reporting under frameworks like Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, CSRD as it's known, or other ESG-related sustainability impacts? Like how have we seen companies be compliant with these?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So the thing is we definitely have seen different areas, right? We've seen some industries are being more ahead of the curve because they're used to it, such as in banking, because they always had a lot of regulations. And then we obviously have in the other pack, you could say, we have like the front runners, so who we typically don't call PwC for help because they already know and they're investing and they find that very important. But the ones that we've had most conversations with now are the ones who come under the strict regulations that are now coming into force. The CSRD that you mentioned is actually entering into force for some of the companies operating in Europe in 2025 on 2024 data, right? So it's there. It's already live. And then we have these clients who ask us, okay, we need help, and it goes across the whole spectrum, from helping them understand the legal meaning of these words, all the way to help me find a data source and then report it in a proper way, to also help them with the assurance behind it, right? So that's what we've seen, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's a lot of different aspects of being compliant in these new reporting standards, and companies are still trying to figure these out. And it sounds like some maybe have a little bit more advanced than others, but what, I guess, limitations and challenges have you seen when companies are starting to face these approaches and these compliance standards?
Well, certainly the first one will be the data, right? And the data in the broad sense. So as mentioned, this is one of the reporting requirements now. There's one that exists for years and years. That's the financial reporting, and everybody knows that. Investors are used to read and compare from one company to the other, and this is very well established and a well-oiled machinery, you could say. Now with this one, what's interesting is the non-financials is also asking for data that spans across far larger and wider within your organization, asking things like more details about the employees, about how you treat your customers, how you treat your suppliers. And then it goes also to all of your environmental data, so your GHG emissions, so greenhouse gas emissions that you produce yourself, but also your suppliers produce. So that's really complex for you to gather. And what's very interesting is that as clients are trying to answer those requirements from CSRD as an example, they realize that there's areas where, they have them under control. Your own workforce, you know that for years, you've been reporting on that. So it's let's say, easier, right? However, when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions, it really depends on your industry. Have you had to do that before? We've had clients who are not tracking this and then need to start tracking. Others have been tracking it for years, but it's one person in a room in an Excel that is on its own hard drive, and that's it, right? I'm not going to go all the way to paper-based, but it's a little bit to show you the breadth of how many diverse sources we have. Yeah.
And so you mentioned Excel, and it sounds like that maybe there's varied levels of technological advancements within some. Some are still reporting on Excel. Some maybe have a built-out system, business intelligence perhaps involved. Within our technology and data team, this is a technology and data podcast, I remind you. How do you describe our approach to helping our team leverage technology and data to help clients be compliant with these standards and get in line?
So the way that we try to approach it is for clients at the broad spectrum, not only the data and tech teams, but it's really to see it as what we call the value cycle, right? It's first look at it from a compliance perspective. So yes, you need to comply, you need to follow the standard, and you need to get this first report out. For that, what we do is we really try to help them also with our assurance team to show them, okay, what is it that the auditor is going to ask us questions, right? So that you feel comfortable, even though it's an Excel, it's okay for the first years, and then you make sure that this report gets out. Out of that, then what we try to do is make sure that we have our improvement cycle. And to give you one example, we have a client who recently mentioned that to get their financial report out at the end of the year, it takes them 18 days.
Wow.
When it comes to non-financial report, it takes them 183 days, right? So half a year to get it out. And so that's really what we're trying to get our clients to, is really improve the existing processes. Yes, Excel is fine, it's doable from an insurance perspective, but is it really value-added work that your employees are spending on? And so it's really help them with automation, with RPA, with whatever is there, and have a solid foundation, technology foundation, to really be there for the long run. And that's really the third element of our wheel, would be the benefits, is saying, okay, now that you went to the extent of gathering this additional data, get those insights, run analytics on them, use that so that your users, your decision makers in your company are aware and can make informed decisions and can actually improve the KPIs that you're reporting on through because of the regulations. So that's really how we try to approach it. When it comes to tech and data, because I know it's a tech and data really podcast, what we approach is really look at it from working on the aggregation layers, right? So that we have some good reporting layers that are built future proof. One of the approaches that has been quite successful lately is building unified data models, because it helps really aggregate diverse data sources into one common language that can be done at a central place. Even though your organization might be decentralized, still you have this visibility, this comparability that helps you also with the reporting, and that helps you with reporting with CSRD now, but then also with CS-DDD or RBI or all the other regulations that your company might be forced to report to.
And I think this life cycle is so important, because we talk about or think about the example of, if it takes your company 320 days to do some reporting, where is the room where you're going to improve that reporting, right? How far can we get in that time, in that shortened time frame of, if it takes us this long to report, how can we automate that? There's really no time. So I think this life cycle is important. You mentioned a bit about our assurance practice here at PwC. The people who are external auditors who are going to our clients and making sure they're compliant with these standards. Do you see kind of cross-loss capabilities come into play when we're advising our clients from an advisory stand on ESG?
Well, to be frank here, it's been a while that I'm at PwC, and it's one of the only topics that I see requires this multi-competency teams, but multi-competency not just saying a business analyst and a developer and a scrum master. No, it's multi-competency in the sense of it's the capabilities going from someone who is close to the regulations, knows the legal text and can translate that into business language, all the way to the person being able to translate that in technical language. And so, yes, I think that's our main added value here as PwC, is that we're bringing the assurance, so the auditors who can help us guide what are the questions that are being asked, but then also the legal colleagues and anything in between, right? And I think that's really what's adding value, because then we get them ready and confident that even before the report is published, that they know that the score that they will get is somewhat green, right? And that it's not going to be something where a shot in the dark and hoping that this was enough. So, yeah.
And as we think to close the conversation a bit, I mean, the future, what can our clients expect? Is this going away? Our reporting requirements going to become more intense? What do you see, and how can our clients stay kind of ahead of the curve in terms of all of this ESG stuff?
So what I think is it's really about building this, what we call the solid foundation. So we're really pushing also to not buy something new, because that's not the solution. The solution is look at what you have and make that better. And if you need something additional because you were missing something, that's fine. But that's the first, and then the other is really to build this long-term foundation for data. So have a proper governance, as I mentioned, right, the unified data model that is scalable and can be expanded, because these regulations are going to continue. Just now, recently, CS-DDD has been issued. This is asking for some of the data that is also in CSRD, but but then is also asking much more, right? And so you need to be able to have a model and a setup that is really scalable, so that you don't reinvent the wheel and you don't have to go through the same pain every single year.
Awesome. Well, Rod, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you everyone listening. We really hope you enjoyed today's episodes and were able to learn a few things about ESG and the companies moving to standardized reporting. If you did enjoy the episode and want to dive a little bit deeper, we will link our website in the bio of this episode. There you'll find more resources and contact information. And additionally, we will have a few ESG blogs coming out from Rod and his team, so be on the lookout for those. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform to stay up to date on all of our latest contents. And we also do love hearing from you. So please feel free to leave a review or reach out through the website, and your feedback and questions will be responded to. Until our next episode, I'm Matthew Dunn, and on behalf of our entire PwC Switzerland Technology and Data team, thank you for listening. Bye-bye.